Hi, I'm Liz Larson, back with the art of frosting and some cake decorating basics. Today I'm going to do something that I haven't quite done before. A friend of mine called and wanted me to do a baby shower cake, and it's a cake that's done in fondant, and I don't do fondant. So I have to figure out how to do it in icing. So I'm going to show you my process of figuring it out. So I'm not sure what tools I'm going to use yet, and as I go, I will tell you what I'm using and how it's working out. So come along with me. Let's get started. This is a baby butt and legs cake. So I'm going to move this out of the way and show you how to prepare the butt part. Okay, I found an egg-shaped pan in my pan collection. There are many, and I just happen to have an egg-shaped one. So this is the shape I'm going to use for the baby's back and butt. And if you want to do this and you don't have an egg-shaped pan, go ahead and use a 6-inch round. I think it would work just about the same. Now I haven't really filled this, so it's very lightweight, and I don't need the whole thing, so I'm going to actually trim off my front part, and this is why I'm saying I think a 6-inch round would work. Now that I have my little butt part, I want to go ahead and use my quick icer and ice. Now this little part is going to be white anyway because it is the diaper part that's going to be showing on the back of the cake. I am going to take a small spatula and make a quick pass at this. And then I am going to use a tip that many of you have seen on my daughter's channel, Leah's Crazy Cake Lab. We're going to use the end of a plastic bag to get the smoothness and the look of fondant. Next, we're going to use our handy dandy, as Leah says, plastic bag. And we just want this end. We want the stiff end, and we're going to use that as a smoother. And you can see it works great, and it's really quick. Now the front part of the cake is going to be covered by a blankie. So the smooth part needs to be just this back butt part, which is going to be our diaper, and you can see how quick that happens. Just to be safe, I put a couple of straws in here. Now don't you guys go stacking a wedding cake with straws. That doesn't work. But for just a little bit of stability, I just want to be safe here. I put the straws in under here to create some weight. Now this doesn't really weigh very much, like I said. So place it right about like that, where you can see the front part of our baby butt there is just coming up on the edge. You want to leave just a little space. So next we need to do little legs, and I stuck my finger in it right here. And what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to do these half cake donuts. That's just about the right shape. I'm going to just trim them down just a little bit and get it right on there. And I've whipped up some really, really pale, peachy pink that we're going to use for the baby's flesh tone. If you can see here, I've got some real pale pink, peach that I've mixed myself with yellow and pink. So I've iced my little legs here, and I'm having a little trouble covering. So what I'm going to do is put this in the freezer for about 20 minutes and let this stabilize a little bit. That'll make a nice crumb coat, and then my next layer will cover perfectly. While I put this in the freezer, I'm also going to ice this little sliver of donut that I cut here. You can see, oops, it broke, a little piece here that I'm going to use for the little feet. So I'm going to ice that up, put that in the freezer as well, so I can just go ahead and stick them on. So I've got my crumb ice down, and I'm going to come in with my number 12 figure piping tip, which I'm also going to use for the feet. And I'm going to put an even layer of icing here so that I get a nice even coat of icing, and that I can use it to round. Come back in with my little baggie and just smooth right over. You can see how nicely that is working. So it looks like using the figure piping tip first, and then the bag over it works great. I get a nice smooth round, fat little leggy. There we go, and now we can move on to the feet. I've got my 2 little pieces of donut that I iced, and we're gonna get them on here. And so they're just crumb iced and they're just a base. So we're just taking our little cut piece of plastic and we're smoothing around. Now don't be afraid to get this back in the freezer to solidify it up. And I don't know if you can see here, but every time I take a swipe here, I wipe my piece of plastic off on the towel below. So I'm not just moving around excess icing, I'm actually taking a little bit off at a time and smoothing. So this will take you a little bit of time to get completely smoothed out. I kind of figured it out on this one ahead of time so I could just show you guys. Just keep coming around and taking little bits of frosting off till you get just the shape you want. So I need to put on the toes, so big toe in. I already made this mistake and put them on backwards once. 5 little toes. I'm using my number 12 figure piping tip still. And just lightly squeeze and release. And there's our little tooties. I'm using my star tip here. I've got a number 23. You can use even smaller, but I'm just going to come in very delicately in here and use just a little reverse shell for the little lace around the edge. You can see how tiny that is. I'm just using a really light pressure control. I want to come down here at the bottom of the diaper and just put 3 little. Now we're going to have a blanket over this, but I also just want to finish off this edge, and I'm just going to put a straight shell around it just so that it's finished under the blanket. So the next step is our little blankie that covers over the top of the little knees and just all around the back of the rump and down. So I'm using a number 1270. It's a giant rose tip. And I'm going to start on this side and just create a very soft ruffle. So I'm barely zigzagging, mostly I'm dropping this line, as you can see, so I can get the kind of drop shape of a blanket and end here. Now I'm going to come around the back side and continue. So what I want to do is attach that and kind of make a ruffle. And what I want to do is let this drape down a little bit on the corner. Come back up and let it drape again. Come back in and around. So if you want to make this smooth, you would use the same technique as we used on the butt. You would just fill this in and then start to smooth with your plastic bag. But I don't think it adds anything, and I think this will add more. And because we can, I'm going to use my star tip that is striped with some white and some blue. And I am going to make a little E-motion following the lines of my blankie to make it look crocheted. That's our baby cake. I am just going to finish off with some ribbon and some polka dots and some writing, and we'll be finished. Well, I can't say making a fondant cake out of icing is easy, but it worked. It takes a little manipulating here. I think there's a few things I would do differently. Mainly I think I would do the feet off the cake and then put them on. Aside from that, I think it went pretty well. So thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, it's free. You can find me at www.theartoffrosting.blogspot.com and on Facebook at The Art of Frosting, where I share a whole lot of the work that you guys send me. Comment, please. I answer all of them. You can send me an email at the cake decorating instructor at gmail.com for those serious cake decorating questions. Thanks again, guys. Lots more to come. See y'all again soon. Bye.